Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will be showing you how to set up SQL such that you can log in to your server using the IP address of your machine or any other machine that will be having SQL installed. So on this machine, you can already see that I've already installed a software called Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is the software which is currently open right now. The other one that I've also installed is SQL Server itself. So how do I know that I've installed SQL Server? If I go here and search for SQL, I will find the SQL profile and the SQL Server Configuration Manager. So basically this is where we'll start in most of the cases. But today, because we're setting up just how to log into SQL using SQL authentication and using IP address connecting to your machine to your server, this is where we're going to start. So first of all, I just freshly installed my SQL server. So my server management studio is not aware of the server which exists. So I will have to go find out the name of the machine first. So I will go to this PC, right? And I will right click here and I'll look for properties. Most of you already know how to arrive here using other different style. So the name of my machine, you can see it says DDNA L1 WC NRC2. So this is a machine I use for work purposes. So this is the name of the machine. In most cases, if I want to copy this, I can just come and say change and I will copy this name. Right, so I'm just referencing to copy the name here. If you are working on a school machine or a machine wherein you've been restricted to do a lot of things because it's managed somewhere else, these options might not be available to you. But don't worry, you can still just type it out, write it on a piece of paper, take a screenshot and be able to type it out later on. So from after getting the name of the machine, that is what I will use here. So first of all, make sure that your server management studio is open, and when it's trying to connect to a particular server, make sure that you have selected database engine here. So after selecting database engine, the next thing you're going to do is type out the server name. So the server name must start with the name of your machine, right? So I'm going to paste that name I copied from the system information there. So here is the name, it's already pasted. Remember where I got it from? I got it from here by coming here to say change settings, and I say change here and I copied this name of the machine here. Okay, so whatever name will be displayed here, you need to type it out as it is. If you can't copy it because of restriction, you can take a screenshot and just be able to type it out with letter by letter, number by number. The next thing you'll want to do is to find out the actual server name now, right? What is the name of the instance of server which is running on your machine? So this can only be found only if you've already installed SQL Server Management Studio, which I will then show you where do you get it, right? So there's a difference between SQL Server Management Studio, which is this software here, right? Which is this software, and the actual server itself. So you need two separate software. You need the server itself installed on a machine. You also need the SQL Server Management Studio installed. This is the one just to manage the databases, right? This is your RDBMS. But the server itself must be installed separately. So you will have to go to the internet and search for SQL Server, and then you will download the latest server version which is out there. If you go to the SQL Server download, you will be able to find the particular server that which is of SQL, right? So the one which is free, which I like using, is this one for Express. So you'll see I usually download this Microsoft Express, and once it's downloaded, I will find it here under my downloads. Here it is. Here's the file, and then once you click this, it will attempt to install. You accept the conditions, then it will install server management SQL Server for you. This is the version for this is or the edition for this, it's called Express, right? Now from there, once you have already installed it, you now need to go find out if ever. Once you install it, you don't need to restart the machine. Things are supposed to just be fine. You can now go look for what we call server services, right? You can either find this under services, so you can type for services, right, this option for services, or you can also look for the SQL server by just typing SQL and you look for configuration manager, right? So I'll do both steps so that you see what's happening. So under services, you'll be looking for a service. There are so many services which are currently running on any particular machine. You'll be looking for a service that starts with SQL, right? So if I can just click anywhere here and type SQL first, it will take me to all the services that start with the letter S. If you don't want to do that, you can scroll down until you find SQL, and you as you can see here, I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 services that are currently installed on this machine that are related to SQL. The one you are looking for is the actual server, right? So you've got SQL Server Agent, Server Browser, Server CE, IP services. You also have Server VSS Writer. Those are the services that are there, and you can already see on the status here there are other services that are already running. So the next thing you want to do is to see the server name. So the server name will be, after saying SQL Server, it will show you the server name itself. So the server name has been set up as SQL Express in all caps, right? So that's the other way you can find out what is the name of the server, right? The other way you can find out the name of the server, obviously, as I've said, is by going to type SQL and looking for configuration manager, right? And then once configuration manager has been opened, you can then look for what is the server name. So if you click SQL Server, it will show you SQL services. It will show you the services which are running, the others which are stopped. So you can see the SQL Server again, which is that service we saw that site. It's running, and the name is SQL Server. So the name will be in brackets here. So this is the SQL Server that we're speaking about. So SQL Express. So that is the last thing you need. You already have the name of the computer, which you've already typed it out. The next thing you need is just the name of the server. So you put /, and the name of the server was SQL Express, all in caps, right? So then you can now press connect, right? So basically that's how you can connect to install server. But in most cases, if you start by installing the server, then install Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, you won't have to type out that name or do all of those steps. It will just be Server Management Studio will look for the server itself and find it and put the name there. Okay, so now you are logged on, and remember, now you are the super admin here, so you have all the rights as this user here. So by default, you just log in like this. The next step you want to do is to make sure that you have you want to log in using username and password, not assuming that it's just gonna log in without asking for your password, right? This is in case someone get hold of your machine, gets hold of your profile. They should not be able to access your SQL if they don't have your username and your specified password of that SQL server. So the next thing you want to do is just right click on the server itself, on the connection, and you go to properties, right? So this is the first step. You go to properties and you make sure that under connections, right, or under security, under security, you also mention that this allows server connection via Windows authentication mode. That's using just your username. So here SQL will assume that you already logged onto your machine, right? So you are already a user on this machine. There is no need for you to put a password. It's just gonna go to Windows and capture your username and assume you know the password of your computer, and voila, you are in. There will be no password asked, no problem. But you will want to log in a predefined way wherein every user on this server have got a username and a password, right? So you click on the second option. I usually also want to get login audit for all failed and successful login, right? So this is for auditing reasons. So if ever we're working on a commercial database, it's not all successful users that are there for the good reason. So even if you have successfully logged on, we need to have details that this particular user successfully logged on at this time using this particular machine, right? So this is what the login audit will give us. So I will say both here. You don't have to do this if you are not really working on any commercial databases. The next thing now, I'm just going to press OK. It's going to tell me that for most of these changes to happen, I will need to restart the services, right? So remember, the services are these ones that we're talking about here. So I can come here and say restart, but I will do that after doing almost everything that I need to do. Okay, so that is the first thing I needed to do. The second part, I will want to make sure that I connect using IP address on that particular server. So let me go find out the IP address of my machine currently. So I'll open CMD and do IP config, and it's going to tell me that the IP address I'm using is the following, right? Okay, so I've copied that IP address, right? So make sure you copy the actual IPv4. If you are on an area where you are using IPv4, you only need the IP address, right? So the next thing you want to do is to say now you are going to set up a port number. You already know your IP address. You want to now set a port number. So a port number is where you are hosting the server itself. Where do you want your server to be run on? So I'm going to say, to set up a port number, you do it under the firewall advanced setting. So I'm gonna go with Windows Defender advanced settings. Once it opens like this is on Windows 10, by the way. So once it's here, I'm going to say on inbound rules, because I want to be receiving users to this server. So on all inbound rules, I'm going to create a new rule, right? And this new rule will be based on you can also select SQL from here, but I will just want to select a port, using a port so that it does not change all the time. So the specific port I will want to use maybe is 2021 as my port here, and I will press next, right? Yeah, 2021 is fine. Press next, and then the rest of the steps are just next. Here I'm just gonna say SQL inbound rule, right? You can put a description if you want. There we go. So I now have an SQL inbound rule which is already enabled. It's ready to receive all of those requests coming from different machines, right? So because you know, some of the firewalls will have default things already set up for them, I also prefer changing or turning off the firewall itself. So I'm just going to the control panel. This, in most of the users, you don't have to do this, but if you really want to follow all the steps here, you will have to perform this as well. So when I'm here, I want to check for firewall, right? Windows Defender on firewalls. This is via control panel, by the way, and I just want to make sure that all of my firewalls are off. As you can see, they've been turned off here. Okay, so things are fine. So if you don't have management control over this, obviously to tell you the message as you see on mine, that you can change some of the things here. So the firewall is off, the port has been set up, I know my IP address. The next thing I'll want to do now is to go exactly to SQL configuration manager right here, and now go to the network server network configuration. So I'll open the protocols and I'll go to the TCP. The first thing you'll have to do is enable this thing, right? So enabled, I'll keep it to yes, then I'll navigate to IP addresses, right? So you saw what we've done. Let me just cancel. We start here. We're here, it's server SQL Server Configuration Manager. Under server network configuration, you go to protocols for SQL Express and you go to the TCP over IP, right? You click here and then you say, is it enabled? You make it yes, that is enabled. Then you move to IP address. And IP address, don't worry much. I've seen most people will come change IP addresses here. I don't want to change IP addresses because my machine will forever have a different IP address each day. But if you know your machine is set up on a static IP address, you might want to go change here on IPv4 or on all IP here on IPv4 and put that IP address we copied, right? So instead of this one, you'll put the one you copied. But these have no much effect for this stage. So here I'm just going to put that port number. You remember the port number we created, which is 2021 on all the ports, right? And I'm going to press apply. It will again warn me that the changes I'm trying to make can only be made once the server has been restarted, right? I'm again going to agree that I will restart the service later. I think right now it's attempting to restart the service. Okay, so we're gonna give some time. I think the service has been restarted now. So if we go back now here to SQL, right, you see the services are running, and then we go back here to Server Management Studio. And then now let's just add a particular user under security. So we go here, we'll say we're gonna add myself, right? So I'm gonna come and say I'm adding an SQL Server authentication, no longer a Windows authentication user. So here I'm just gonna say my name is Tendo, and I will put in password, right? So since I'm the admin here, I don't really need to enter much of the password, and I will turn off the security for password. This is not really advisable. This is just for learning people, so I need to move faster here. So now I've put my username here, and then I've put the password, make sure that it's the same password here, and I've turned off the policy. But if you're adding a particular user, you will obviously have to be adding a user that has, you must set the password such that it meets the password criteria, where you have an uppercase, lowercase, a number, and a special character with a minimum of 8 characters. So that's basically what you'll be going through. The next thing, because this is I'm creating an admin user, so the next thing I'll be ticking all of these roles here under server roles, right? So there you go, making sure that this user I'm creating, it's also a super user, right? Everything that I want this person to have. So next thing I press OK. Okay, I've actually turned on this one, so I need to turn it off. Press OK. Okay, there we go. So now we have, let's just recap again. We set up here to say SQL must allow you, under security, must allow you to also log in using SQL Server authentication. You also Windows authentication, right? After doing this, we went on and checked the server name and the computer name. From there, we also went and created a port, right? After creating a port, we came here and set up that port number under the SQL Express, and we already know our IP address, right? So here comes the moment of the truth. Can we now log into this server? Let me just log off here. Can we log into that server using the IP address? So let's go to check it out. So same thing, but this time around, instead of typing this long name of the server, I'm going to put the IP address I copied, which is coming from the machine, right? From there, I'm going to say comma 2021, right? This is a comma now. It's no longer a dot, which is what we've been using here when say 10.222.193.146, comma 2021. From there, I'm going to change this Windows authentication to SQL Server authentication, and I'm going to put my name. Also, I'm going to put the password I put on the other side, right? Then press connect. Let's hope this connects. Okay, if it doesn't connect, I think the only thing we are going to do is just to restart the services again. So let's come here on SQL services and just hit restart on the services. This will again affect the changes. So if I press connect now, there we go, it has now connected, right? So I've restarted the service to make sure that all the changes I've been making are into effect. So now I've logged into this using the IP address, username and password, right? And you will agree with me, this is much safer, because if I log out and I pretend to log in again, I will have to provide the password all the time. Let's see if I press this remember password, what happens. So there we go, disconnect, connect back again, there we go, remember password will be there. So it might not be advisable to keep remember password. Remember this, if this is for commercial, anyone can have access to your machine. If you leave it unattended, and they can damage their business, and it will be under your name. Okay, so that's all in how to connect to SQL using the IP address and setting up the port and setting up SQL Server authentication.